What is literature review? A literature review examines earlier research that has been published in books, academic articles, and any other sources pertinent to a specific problem, field of study, or theory. By doing this, it offers an analysis, synopsis, and critical assessment of these works in connection to the research question under investigation. Reviews of previous work on a subject are intended to give readers an overview of the sources you have used and to show them how your study fits into the body of knowledge already available on the subject. Types of literature review. There are several techniques you might take depending on the kind of analysis supporting your study. Literature reviews are meant to give an overview and synthesis of relevant sources you have looked at. That is argumentative review. Since some social scientific research is value-laden, example immigration control, educational reform, argumentative techniques to literature analysis can be a valuable and legitimate discourse format. Integrative review. It is considered as a type of study that creates new frameworks and viewpoints on a subject by comprehensively reviewing, critiquing, and synthesizing representative literature. All studies that address related or identical hypotheses or research difficulties are included in the body of literature. An excellent integrated review satisfies the same requirements for clarity, rigor, and replication as original research. In the social sciences, this type of review is most frequently used. Historical review. Reviews of historical literature concentrate on studying research throughout time. They may begin with the initial emergence of a problem, idea, theory, or phenomenon in the literature and then follow its development within the field's scholarship. Placing research in its historical context demonstrates knowledge with state-of-the-art developments and helps suggest potential areas for future study. Methodological review. In the areas of ontological and epistemological consideration, quantitative and qualitative integration, sampling, interviewing, data collection, and data analysis, researchers draw from a wide range of knowledge ranging from the conceptual level to practical documents. Reviewing methods of analysis offers a framework of understanding at different levels, that is those of theory, substantive fields, research approaches, and data collection and analysis techniques. Systematic review. This form includes an overview of the body of research relevant to a well-defined research question. It employs pre-established and standardized procedures to find and evaluate pertinent studies, as well as to gather, compile, and evaluate data from the studies that are part of the review. The goal is to deliberately document, critically evaluate, and summarize scientifically all of the research about a clearly defined research problem. Theoretical review. Examining the body of theory that has amassed in relation to a problem, idea, theory, or phenomenon is the aim of this type. The theoretical literature review aids in the development of new hypotheses for testing as well as the identification of current theories, their relationships, and the extent to which they have been studied. This form is frequently used to show that there are insufficient existing theories to explain novel or emerging research challenges, or to demonstrate that there are no suitable theories at all. Why do we need literature review? Consider each piece of work in light of how it contributes to our understanding of the research issue under consideration. Explain how each piece of art relates to the others that are being considered. Find fresh approaches to interpreting earlier studies. Point out any gaps in the literature. Resolve discrepancies between earlier research that appeared to be in disagreement. Determine places where previous research has been done to avoid repetition of effort. Point the way to completing a research demand that needs to be done. Locate your own research within the context of existing literature. Steps in literature review. Formulating the research questions and objectives. Developing the research questions and objectives. The review team's first task is to formulate the research questions and objectives. They also need to identify the primary objectives of the review and specify the concepts or variables that form its synthesis. Regarding this, we agree with Jessen, Matheson, and Lacey that well-stated research questions are essential components that steer the entire review methodology. They highlight the kind of data required, facilitate the identification and selection of pertinent literature, and direct or orient the work that follows. Searching the extant literature. The next stage is to do a literature search and determine which content is appropriate to be included in the review. There are 3 primary approaches to covering. First, thorough coverage refers to the attempt to be as thorough as feasible in order to guarantee that all pertinent studies, both published and unpublished, are included in the review. As a result, conclusions are founded on this full body of knowledge. Presenting elements that are typical of the majority of previous works in a particular field or area is the second sort of covering. The third tactic involves the review panel focusing on earlier publications that have been essential or crucial to a specific subject. These could be conceptual writings or empirical research that started a new line of inquiry. Screening for inclusion. Assessing the material found in the previous step's applicability is the task that lies next. The review team's task is to filter a set of possible studies after they have been found in order to assess their relevance. A predetermined set of guidelines serves as a foundation for including or excluding particular investigations. Researchers must devote a great deal of time to this procedure in order to assure improved objectivity and prevent biases or errors. There must be a framework in place to settle differences and a minimum of 2 independent reviewers participating in the screening process for specific sorts of reviews. Assessing the quality of primary studies. Members of the review team may be required to evaluate the scientific quality of the chosen studies, or the rigor of the research design and techniques, in addition to screening material for inclusion. Formal assessments, typically carried out independently by 2 or more coders, aid review team members in selecting studies for the final sample, evaluating whether quality differences will impact their conclusions, and providing guidance on data analysis and interpretation. It is feasible to reflect on the extent to which the chosen study resolves potential biases by assigning quality scores to each primary study or by taking domain-based evaluations into consideration to determine whether study components have or have not been adequately conceived and implemented. Extracting data. The subsequent phase entails obtaining pertinent data from every primary research that is part of the sample and determining what is pertinent to the problem of interest. It is true that the original research questions mostly determine the kind of data that should be recorded. However, crucial data may also be acquired regarding the research design and methodology, the qualitative and quantitative outcomes, and the how, when, where, and by whom the original study was carried out. Analyzing and synthesizing data. The review team's last task is to compile, synthesis, aggregate, arrange, and contrast the evidence taken from the included studies. According to JAIN, the extracted data must be presented in a way that makes sense and offers a fresh addition to the body of existing literature. According to Webster and Watson, literature reviews ought to be considerably more than just lists of publications. They ought to offer a logical framework for understanding the body of knowledge that already exists on a particular subject. There are numerous approaches and strategies for combining qualitative and quantitative evidence. Structure literature review. Chronological. Organizes sources according to the date of publication. It facilitates monitoring a topic's evolution throughout time. Thematic. Sorts materials not by publication date but by recurring themes, ideas, or hypotheses. It highlights the main concepts found in all of the literature. Methodological. Focuses on the study techniques that were employed. It talks about how various approaches advance knowledge of the subject. Theoretical. It highlights the concepts and theoretical frameworks found in the literature. It examines the numerous theories that are pertinent to the subject. Topical. Divides the review according to particular subtopics or subcategories that fall inside the larger study domain. Every part covers a different topic. Problem-centric. Focuses on certain research issues or challenges and assesses the ways in which various studies approach or aid in resolving them. Geographical. arranges sources according to their topic or geographic area. When researching problems with regional variances, it is helpful. Comparative highlights the parallels, discrepancies, and gaps in the body of research by contrasting and comparing various studies. Historical traces the historical evolution of a subject, demonstrating the changes in theories, approaches, and viewpoints across time. For more information on scholarships, internship, universities and research, please like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, and kindly follow the links given in below description. Created by Zillion Insight.